came close to beating the winner. And congratulations to you, sir, who won. I also heard that during the election, a lot of false information was being spread to confuse the public, and that the government was having a hard time suppressing the false information, and that a lot of it was coming from Musk and Trump, and it was really kind of a repeat of what happened here in the U.S. It is a big shame that the government could not have had their election in advance of Trump taking office. However, I have to wonder, and I don't know the answer, I'm just speculating, not even speculating, I'm just curious. The decision to have a vote, was that related to something specific, or was it simply a pretext so that the election could potentially be rigged, just like Musk tried to do in various countries in Europe? He interfered a lot. And I think honestly that should be illegal. Um, it's bad enough that Musk has rigged the American election for president, or had. Um, it's bad enough that he's tearing apart agencies that were investigating him for various criminal behavior, business crimes and safety and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I want to tell you a little story about a guy named Joshua Haldeman. Josh was born around 1902, and in the 30s he had a farm that went under due to the Great Depression. And he eventually ended up joining Technocracy Incorporated, which was made by Howard Scott. It was built on the idea of a technocratic state in which there were no politicians, there was none of the stuff that you see here in America, that it was based on kind of like a meritocracy, where you would hire people who were technical experts. But for whatever reason, they chose the word technocracy instead of meritocracy. I don't know which word came first, but that word has certainly been around for a while now. I think probably maybe 100 years at least, technocracy. So he became active with the Technocracy Incorporated organization, and depending on where you look, some people will say that this group of people had the goal of overthrowing the Canadian government in favor of a pro-Hitler government. Now, you have to understand that Haldeman was anti-communism and pro-Hitler. He also apparently was anti-Semite and anti-colored people. So when the massacre occurred in South Africa, he was, well, let's just say that he was in favor of it. And that's pretty gross if you think about it. That was the Sharpeville massacre on 21st of March 1960. And shortly after that, the United Nations passed Resolution 134, the first official condemnation of apartheid, and the beginning of decades of diplomatic isolation. Now, you have to wonder, what does Haldeman have to do with South Africa? Well, I'm getting there. Anyways, in around 1940 or 1941, Haldeman got arrested because of his involvement with Technocracy Limited and the Technocrats, because apparently at that time they were viewed as a subversive organization that was viewed as being anti-World War II. Now, I can't say I blame them for being anti-World War II because I'm not a proponent of war. But at the same time, I have to wonder, if he was so avidly anti-communism and pro-Nazism, then it sounds like he would want to be in the middle of the war to help Hitler to win. So he, amongst many other people in several different countries, were supportive of Hitler, were supportive of the eradication of the Jews, and 1943, Technocracy Incorporated was delisted as a subversive organization because they came out as being pro-World War II. However, I think Haldeman had a bad taste in his mouth because he was unable to make political progress in Canada. He kept losing to other people. He also claimed that the apartheid South Africa was leading white Christian civilization against the international conspiracy of Jewish bankers and the hordes of colored people he claimed they controlled. So he had a very twisted view of the Jews and the hordes of colored people. Now, given the way that the Jews are in Israel are currently, which is, and it's a small number of them, are treating the Palestinians in what is an overt attempt to commit genocide, and they're succeeding, and nobody's really doing anything about it. And in fact, America, much to my chagrin, much to my embarrassment, much to my anger, is actively participating in this genocidal behavior in favor of a group of people who were given land that they did not own. Anyways, so in 1950, Joshua Haldeman moved to Pretoria in South Africa, and he served as secretary of the South African Chiropractors Association, chiropractics being largely a scam. He was a supporter of South Africa's apartheid policies and the ruling National Party of South Africa. He talked to a reporter from a Nazi newspaper, newspaper during World War II, that he was pleased with the apartheid thing and the subjugation of the natives. He seemed to have a very negative opinion of the blacks in South Africa. He said the natives are very primitive and must not be taken seriously. Some are quite clever in a routine job, but the best of them cannot assume responsibility and will abuse authority. The present government of South Africa knows how to handle the native question. Which to me sounds like he had been trained growing up to believe in the lies that blacks are inferior. And they're not. Some of this, there are lots and lots of black people that we can look at throughout history who have demonstrated that blacks are not stupid, they're not lazy, they're no different from anybody else as far as the things that really matter. Now, sadly, this is where I have to kind of shift gears. There was another family that was living in South Africa, and this family, the Thiels, were very much into the technocracy idea, and one of their children, Peter Thiel, who, along with Musk and certain other people, helped to make PayPal and certain other companies, and then got very, 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 very rich, insanely rich, richer than anybody should ever be. Peter Thiel was very, very much indoctrinated into the idea of the technocracy. Now, I've only looked at a tiny bit at what technocracy proposes, and I see some really good ideas, like the idea of people being chosen for merit and getting rid of politicians and all the things that come with politicians. I think those are excellent ideas. However, along with that comes this fascist attitude that people are by nature not equal. And that's the opposite of communism. So if you are a racist, then you're probably going to want to be a fascist. If you are an equalist, then you would probably want to be communist. Unfortunately, within the democratic society that we live in, both are allowed, which allows for freedom of speech and stuff, hatred to be spread and people to be indoctrinated to believe things that are not true, that have been scientifically proven to be false. that's where Musk comes in, because Joshua Haldeman was Musk's grandfather. So these boys knew each other all the way back from South Africa. And they came to America to study. In the case of Elon Musk, aside from having lots and lots of children and not being a particularly good dad and not being a particularly good husband, but that's another story. Musk dropped out of university, and since he had dropped out, he should have left the country, but he remained in America illegally. So this is pretty ironic. Here's this man who's allied with Musk, who's very much anti illegal alien. But Trump is not anti-white illegal alien. He's anti-brown illegal alien. And quite possibly anti-Jewish, but not, I don't think so. See, this is where it gets a little confusing, because whereas Joshua Haldeman, and I'm not sure if he's related to the Haldeman that served Nixon or not, but Joshua Haldeman was clearly anti-black, anti-Jew, and pro-fascism. Whereas Musk seems to also be along those lines, but Trump doesn't seem to be anti-Jew. He does seem to be racist, but he doesn't seem to be anti-Jew, and his racism, at least at this point, seems to be focused on brown people. So whereas Hitler went after the Jews, he's going after the brown people. And I don't actually know what Musk's stance is when it comes to the Jews. One of the things that's very interesting is that back in the 30s, Howard Scott's Technocracy Incorporated and the organization in general had come up with a plan, I think it was in 1936, in which they said that they were going to unify the entirety of the North American continent, which they referred to as America for some strange reason. And that from the polar cap, I believe it was, or the polar, maybe just the polar region, down to Panama, they were going to make all of it one country. Now this is really interesting because, if you recall, Trump states that he wants Canada and he wants Panama. So is this a coincidence? I don't think so. I think that Trump and Musk are helping each other to achieve their individual goals, in which Trump becomes an emperor and Musk gets to, and Thiel get to realize the goal of a technocracy. Now, I wouldn't have a problem with the technocracy if it weren't for the fact that it's fascist. And because it's fascist, it's racist. They go hand in hand. One of the defining characteristics of a fascist nation is that it's racist. And I don't agree with that. Because, like I said, scientifically it's proven it doesn't matter what race you are. And racism even is a construct. It's not even a scientifically backed idea. But if you take people who are primitive or not, or from a completely different culture even, and you put them into this culture, they will generally, depending on their previous state and how they live their lives and their culture and stuff, they may or may not appear to be lazy. So, for example, I worked with many, many people from the Congo, the DRC, and I noticed something in that, and I confirmed this with one of the males from that I was friends with, that in their country, women work societally. They work together, they talk as they work, and so it's a mixture of social and the responsibilities that they had as women. Whereas the men would go out there, they would do the hard labor, they would go the hunting and stuff like that. So the experience is very different, and it was easily observed working with these people. So like if I worked with a man from the Congo, and this is not sexism, this is not racism, I'm just relating to you what I observed, what I learned. men would work very, very hard. They wouldn't necessarily stick together, but they would work very, very hard, and they were quite social and friendly. The women, on the other hand, um, were very much oriented toward being together. If one was placed upstairs in Department A, and another was placed downstairs in Department B, and another was placed in Department C up on the third or the second floor, and another one was placed in Department D on the first floor, they would all come together at one of those locations every day, even though they weren't allowed to do so, and they would spend hours socializing and not really working. And this pissed off many, many, many people. And it happened over and over and over again. And these people were, for whatever reason, it appeared that they were being protected by Amazon. I don't know if that's the case or not, because Amazon is very secretive about what it does and doesn't do. You know, it wants to avoid accountability. It wants to minimize visibility, even though the leadership principles that they have are contrary to that. So, yeah, so looking at it from the outside, or rather the inside, and they're on the outside. Whereas in this country, people are expected to work when they're at work. These people would come in, they would not work, they would talk a lot, they would be defiant, they would be disrespectful, they wouldn't help. And it was very, very hard being around them. And even talking to them was difficult because most of them spoke Lingala, which is the native language in that area. Some of them spoke a broken form of French. Mostly it was, kind of a mixture of the two languages. And most of them were horribly bad at English. So it was very hard to communicate. In fact, when I first started meeting them, many of them spoke almost no English. I knew more French, and I know almost no French, than they know English. So I was actually, on one day when we were doing something, I was using the few words that I knew to tell them where to take something. So, like if it was something that needed to be put nearby in a particular pile, I would say ici, and I would point. And then if it was something that needed to be put farther away, I would say là-bas, and I would point. And I would say s'il vous plaît, which means if you please, and merci, which is thank you. And that worked fine for that one event, but there were other times where there was lots of confrontations. But this is a consequence of taking somebody from a group of people from one culture that is extremely different from the way Americans do things and transplanting them into this country. If they are not prepared to adapt, if they're not taught what is expected of them, it's going to go very hard for them. So anyways, that is that. So Canada, I feel bad for you. We're going through the same thing that now you've just gone through. Unfortunately for us, we didn't win. You guys did win. You should feel very happy that you have the president that you have, because the guy that was in second place during your election, he was a puppet for Musk and Trump, and they would have used him to take over the country. In fact, I am absolutely positive that once he got into office, he would have capitulated the country to Trump. But why? Well, again, it all goes back to the idea of Howard Scott's technocracy. That would be from the polar region all the way down to the Panama area. And to speak very briefly on Panama, Panama was once part of Colombia. America forcibly took it from Colombia and turned it into Panama and built the canal, and eventually a president who had more ethics than the president of that time gave it back. Well, in a sense, he didn't give it back to Colombia, which was by then a horribly drug-ridden drug cartel headquarters. He allowed Panama to become an independent nation. And so the things that you hear Trump say about how we got a bad deal and stuff, We got a great deal. It was Colombia that got screwed, and then the people of Panama that got screwed. So what Trump says about Panama is a lie, and in fact, he says a lot of lies. I mean, constantly the lies are spilling out of his mouth, and I just. But anyways, I want to become a Canadian, and I really hope that you guys can band together against this common enemy that is trying to subvert your country. So I wish we could take Musk, take his money away from him, and send him off somewhere. And take Trump, take his money away from him, and send him off somewhere. Maybe they could go enjoy El Salvador for a while, be with their buddy Bukele. I think that's all I really want to say. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.